Microsoft took care of it, kept it running, it operated on thousands of servers around the world, and we were basically almost never down. And then backups is another example. We used to have a big clunky tape drive. You'd have to put the tape in, change the tape. We went to backup to the cloud. You pay it monthly. Your data's everywhere, secure, always available to get back. IT support, same thing. Break fix. We used to, as IT providers, sit in our office and wait for something to break, and you guys would call us up, and then you get it fixed, and we drive out there, fix things, send you a big bill, and you were kind of panicked. And now you pay us a flat monthly fee, and we just keep everything running, trim and neat. And entertainment, if you think about years ago, you used to go to the video store, for those that remember, and you rent a video, a tape for the weekend. Now it's Netflix, it's on demand, you pay them a monthly fee, watch whenever you want, whatever you want. So that being said, I want to just turn the presenting over to Scott. Scott, do you want us to run the slides and you can just talk to them?
Brian, let me see if I can share my version of it.
Okay, can you make Scott the presenter?
Let's see.
Make host, yeah.
Yeah, it's telling me I can't start while you guys are sharing.
Oh, so stop screen sharing on our side. Stop sharing. Yeah.
There we go. And you should be seeing my slides. Is that right?
Yep. There we go. So I always preface these webinars, and we're up to about a half a dozen now, and I apologize, Scott, by telling everybody we aren't professionals. So it's obvious that, we're working our way through being a good webinar presenters, but we're still a little rough at this. So Scott, I'm going to turn it back over to you.
That's great. We do webinars constantly, and something always goes wrong every single time. There's no, in fact, something will go wrong on mine. Just wait and see. So good morning, everyone. I appreciate Brian and his team having me in to talk for just a couple of minutes about a new approach to technology. I'm at Intel Corporation, and I manage a team at Intel that works with technology service providers like Automation Concepts. And what we do is a little bit different from the rest of Intel. As Brian said, the world runs on Intel. It's not quite true, but it's substantially true. I mean, our chips are in everything, and what Intel does is they make silicon chips. But that's the technologists at Intel, and there's armies of them. That's what they do. They just pump out these new things that supposedly can do cool stuff. What my team does is different. We work with a small number of technology service providers, of which Automation Concepts is one, on looking at, is that thing really valuable? We've got this idea, and it's always, for us, it's in a business setting. It's a new device, it's a new capability, it's a new way of doing things. We think that's cool. Does that really make sense to actual businesses and organizations out there? And the very best way to do that is to work with managed service providers who know how to do that. And that's, for Brian and his team, they're not trying to shovel technology at anyone, they're trying to shovel business value. So this is a really important part of how Intel goes to market. What we do is pretty visible within the corporation, and that's really a compliment to you guys as customers of Automation Concepts, because that's where the rubber meets the road. We're out looking at the rubber where it meets the road. So it's pretty fun to do, and that's why we are working with Automation Concepts on this idea right now. So the question on the table is, should you rent a key business tool? Does that really make any sense to rent something like that? Brian mentioned that for millennials, this is not a radical concept, but for people like me that aren't millennials, we weren't necessarily used to renting big things, right? We bought them, whether it was for personal use or business use, and that's really changing. A metaphor that I thought up, or a simile that I like to think about, is the tractor. So back in the day, people farmed by hand, but around the turn of the last century, or two turns ago, however you want to look at it, 1900 or so, the tractor became a thing. And by 1930, it had become an affordable thing. So back in 1900, pretty much nobody had a tractor. By the 30s, if you were going to farm, even a small farmer, you had a tractor. It made a significant difference to what you were doing. It was one simple machine back then. It was a significantly different and new technology, but now it was affordable for the average user. It caused a huge increase in productivity. It was pretty quickly got to a point where if you didn't have a tractor, you couldn't effectively farm on a commercial scale, even as a family farmer. And it did cost a lot, but it was obtainable, and it quickly became a competitive necessity. You just couldn't get by without it. So all of that looks kind of similar, if you're old enough, to the first PCs. When they came out, it's like, how are we going to use, very, very famously, Watson of IBM said, we're only ever going to sell one of these. And it turns out, no, they're really, really useful for business, and pretty quickly they became a competitive advantage and something you had to have. So very, very similar to the tractor back in the day. So today, technology moves forward in the world of tractors, and today it looks a lot different. So now you don't use, even though a lot of farmers have a small tractor, you cannot farm on any commercial scale without combines. But the thing is, that combine is millions of dollars. So today, most farmers, unless you are a huge corporate farming organization, most farmers rent these, and how they rent them it's pretty interesting. There have been constant advances here, just like with the PC, and that's why this thing looks so different than the early ones did. The good news is productivity and capabilities have gone up and up and up and continue to do so. There are constantly new things that you can get done in new ways, but that also means the complexity goes up. So they get harder to manage and more expensive to buy. This is a very extensive solution. So when you quote unquote rent this, generally you're not renting a machine, you're renting a group of machines. They all show up at once. The showing up is part of what you're renting. You're renting the capability, and the person you're renting it from brings it to your field. The staff is included, and it has extensive capabilities that are pretty whizzy. So, and in fact, it occurred to me that combines were the first self-driving vehicles. I mean, way before cars were self-driving, combines they're GPS controlled. And there is a guy inside in a nice air-conditioned cab listening to the stereo, but he's being driven by GPS through the field. And it's easier in a field because there's no other cars to run into. So, but it's a pretty advanced thing. So, and it's still a competitive necessity. If you're going to farm at scale, you can't do it without having these. And in general, you don't buy them, you rent them. So the reason you don't buy them is because they're super expensive, right? It's a very large capital expense, and it's much easier to rent, and it becomes an operating expense that you then budget for as a farmer every year. So all of that is just really similar to the PCs today. They're critical for business. They're complex machines. They require deployment. They require maintenance. They require protection. And it's just, just like the tractor, you can do more and more with it, but managing the thing has become challenging. So that's where we are, and then along comes a renting economy that just grows and grows and grows. There's more things you never imagined you could rent in the past. You can today. The last one on there, puppies. I'm not making that up. I Googled the list of what can I rent, and up pops puppies, and I guarantee you this is going to happen in my household. You've got young kids and not enough room for a dog. We're going to rent a puppy, I guarantee it. So you can rent almost everything. So interesting idea. Who's doing this? Is anybody really doing this, especially among small and mid-sized businesses? Well, it turns out, yes. Not only is somebody doing it, but a lot of people are doing it. So 55% of North American businesses of all sizes, large, medium, and small, use some PC as a service in their PC fleet, and 30% more expect to do so. So pretty much everybody is looking at this as a possibility. And it turns out that when small and mid-sized business users do it, they actually like it a lot. So they were asked in market research to rate the long-term impact of using PCs as a service on a scale of 1 to 10, and they rated it at an average of 7.8, which is pretty high. And then they asked them to rate what's your satisfaction with device as a service, which is another name for a PC as a service. And they rated it as an 8 out of 10. So a lot of people are doing this and they like it. So, what is going on? The other interesting thing, especially to my team, working with technology providers that are serving small and mid-sized businesses, in North America, there's more small and mid-sized businesses doing this than there are large enterprises doing this, which is reverse of the usual trend. Usually, new ways of doing things with technology are adopted in big enterprises and then more slowly in small and mid-sized enterprises. So people like it a lot. So let's take a look at, okay, that's interesting. What is it? How does it work, and why would it be good for us? So when you think about your PCs and how you get them, how you consume them, how you get rid of them at the end of their life, that whole process is really streamlined when you consume the PC as a service. So the first and foremost, the thing that you'll notice first and is maybe has the biggest initial impact is it's a lot easier to budget when you're consuming PCs as a service. Instead of having that large capital expenditure every time you need to purchase a PC, you're getting the PC as at a monthly rate. It's just like a rental. You're paying month to month for the PC, and in fact for the whole PC solution, not just for the box sitting on your desk. So that monthly operating expense is a lot more easy to budget for, and it also frees up your capital for those other strategic investments and projects that you need to make, from time to time to grow your business capabilities or take advantage of new customer opportunities. It all comes in one package. I alluded to this, but it combines everything you need to use that PC effectively, and this is what from your experience with Automation Concepts. That's what they do. It's like, we're not going to just throw hardware on your desk and say, have a good day, but they're going to make sure it's maintained. They're going to make sure it's secure, which is more important every day, as you guys know, and will never become less important. Software can be included, maintenance and repair services included. So it's all in one package for that one monthly fee. So it takes a lot of headaches off of your plate. And also, very importantly, it keeps things up to date, because in a PC as a service agreement, there's an end date. There's a date where that PC is going to go away and you're going to get a new PC in its place. So you always have fresh enough technology so that you don't have aging PCs. And aging PCs become, a PC that's too old is a problem in two different ways. One is it becomes harder and harder to keep that PC secure, which means increased risk to your business. And two, our friends in the software industry are constantly inventing new ways to use PCs and servers. So they are constantly inventing new tools, but often that new tool, that new way of doing business, that new way of reaching customers requires an upgraded hardware. So with PC as a service, you know that you never have an ancient PC sitting on someone's desk and holding them back. So that's one other advantage of PC as a service. So, and the other thing is it keeps your workers more productive. It's kind of obvious, but it also keeps your workers happier. I mean, as we look at market research about where people like to work and how they like to work, especially for millennials, and I think this is, it's true for me too, and I'm not a millennial. I don't want to work with ancient technology. I don't want to work with tools that are limited. I want to work with tools that can help me do what I do well. So it keeps workers more productive, and also it keeps them more satisfied as well. So when you do this, one thing we recommend, and Automation Concepts I know recommends it as well, is that you use a business class PC for the PCs in your business. And the standard business class PC is one that's based on vPro technology. So that's an Intel technology. It's baked into the PC, and it means a number of things that help you do business better. It's business class, so it's got a business level of performance. It's got reduced downtime because it has things built into the PC itself that helps Automation Concepts manage that PC faster and more effectively. So in many cases, it means they can keep that PC more secure. When something goes wrong, it means they can fix that PC many times without having to run out to your office to work on it. They can do it remotely. So it's much faster. So buying everything as a service gives you a better experience and more productivity. And doing that with a vPro-based PC just gives you the best capabilities to run your business in a stable fashion on the desk. So that's what we're seeing. Love to hear your guys' inputs or comments, or if any questions. That's our story.
Thanks, Scott. We're going to open up to questions in just a few minutes. If you can figure out how we unmute everybody here in a second, Jess. I just wanted to touch on a few things Scott said. We have one client, a larger client, that started doing this a couple years ago. They're on their second wave, and they have a number of retail operations or locations, and they refresh 200 new PCs every 3 years. And we have other clients that are, behind on technology. They roll out 2 PCs a month because it's in their it fits their budget. The problem with that is it's a constant stream, and productivity is one thing. There's also, we've run into people who are jealous in the workplace, right? So you're getting 2 PCs a month. Now you have to decide who's going to get it. So, why did Sue get it? Is she their favorite employee? What am I getting the old technology? So there's jealousy in the workplace when you do this onesie, twosie, when you can just kind of do an upgrade across your entire portfolio, and everybody's at the same technology. But the other thing that does for us is we can image those PCs all at once, so they come out all looking the same. So there's standardization across your entire portfolio of technology. And if you look in our industry, the standardization is the key to maintaining a solid, steady network. It reduces costs not only for us, but costs for you, because as we go from PC to PC, every PC has the same drivers, the same hardware. We keep one set of spare parts. So being able to do what we call a forklift upgrade and across the entire operation at once, while it may sound disruptive, is actually the least disruptive. And when you get ready to do a refresh, a lot of times the company that's financing the lease or the rental on these will defer the payments, and you'll be able to get your next set of refresh machines, a month in advance, so you can roll them out and then ship the old ones back. So predictable budget. You can bundle everything into one monthly price. There's no having to play favorites, picking out who gets the new technology first. And there's standardization and stabilization across the network. So do you want to unmute everyone, Jess, and see if we've got questions here? So as we're unmuting people, hopefully it works. If you're in a noisy environment, can you go up on top and unmute all? You can remute yourself if you're, sitting in a coffee shop. You can't unmute. Okay, so we seem to be having technical difficulties there. There is a chat window on your thing. Can you see the chat window? You have the chat. So there's a chat window. So if you could put your questions in the chat window. Jessica's here with me. She's at the keyboard, so she can see questions in the chat. And of course, you always can email back in, and we'll be glad to answer those questions. We've recorded this session, so we will post it up on our website. It usually takes a couple days to get up there. Any questions coming in chat? I guess no questions, Scott. You've dazzled them.
All right.
If they do come through and email-wise, I'll make sure to share them with Scott, and we'll get your questions answered.
That is great.
Brian, can you hear me?
Oh, yeah. We've got one.
Hey, it's John. How are you?
Good, John. How you doing?
I'm doing good. So you can hear me okay?
Yes.
All right. Just want to make sure. So, yeah, I've been thinking about the same thing with the hardware as a service, the device as a service. So I assume you're offering them there. Are they units from Intel that they're selling? They're branded as Intel? Is that what's?
No. The vPro is a chipset that comes in a number of computers. We happen to be a Dell shop, so we're using the Dell primarily the Dell Optiplex 3060, I think, is the latest model now. And that comes with a small form factor, a micro form factor. HP also makes a model. I don't know if you can see me holding it up. Dell makes something equivalent to this. HP makes this. We don't happen to be HP partners. We're Dell partners. But you can get anything as small as this up to a full desktop. They have vPro inside, and what vPro does is they've had the technology on servers called iDRAC. We can actually start a machine up that's turned off on someone's desktop. So a lot of times people say, "Oh, can you work on the machine after 4? I'm going home, and I'm so busy today." We go in at 4. They went home, but they shut the machine off. So with vPro, we can say, "Okay, well, let's turn that machine back on and get the work done." So,
Gotcha.
so it's not an Intel PC. It could be an HP PC. It could be a Dell PC. Most every major vendor has got vPro set up inside. You just have to look for that when you're speccing the machines.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I lost your window of where I was seeing you for some reason. I'm not sure why that is.
Well, I'll send you a snapshot later.
Oh, okay. So, and then are you dealing with, the theory there, is it a 3-year hardware life cycle that you're looking at, or?
Typically, we would recommend a 3-year. Things, after 3 years, technology is moving so fast. I mean, people are getting 5 years out of some PCs, but they're really at the tail end there. If you want to keep your productivity up across the board, 3 years is a pretty good refresh cycle still.
Gotcha. And so is it tiered pricing? Like, are you including Office business, 2019 home and business, or Office 3? Like, how's that working with?
Well, we would bundle whatever services and software the client's looking for, and we can bundle our own maintenance services in there, so you get one monthly payment. We would invoice you. Typically, the leasing company we work with would do an ACH check, draft out of your checking account, and then they reimburse us. So you don't have to pay a lease company, pay us, and back and forth. You just get one flat fee. That's what it costs you to maintain that PC in a month.
Gotcha.
And the entry level is pretty small. I think that you could start a deal as small as $3,000. And of course, we'd be glad to go up to $1 million if you wanted to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. So, all right, cool. Yeah, I can. We can chat more offline or something like that about some of the different stuff. But yeah, that gives a good overview of it.
Okay, great. Any other questions out there? Okay. All right. Again, just email them in. We'll have this posted probably within a week. A couple of days would be nice. Let's see how quick our web company can get it up there. And thank you, everyone. Thank you again, Scott. I appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Brian.
All right.